So our Bridgeport milling machine's got a variable speed head, this one, 2-axis DRO, and this machine has the 48-inch table, so it's the slightly larger table. These are quite rare compared to the 42-inch table. So this machine has had a full strip down service. It's had all new brand new bearings, all new belts, super precision match bearings in the quill, reground spindle, fully reground beds here, so X, Y axes have all been reground. Of course we regrind the top of the table and the two sides as well to make sure everything's square and true. It's got all new lead screws, all new nuts, new knee bearings and so on. There's so many parts I just can't, new parts I just can't list them all, yeah. Okay, there's a fully functioning automatic guard as well. And what I'm going to do now is going to run through the machine, show you it all working, but please come down and see it in the real life for yourself, yeah. Okay, so X, absolutely lovely, as I say, brand new lead screw there, brand new nuts. All original parts as well, we try and stay as close to the original as possible. Same with the wire, it's lovely and smooth all the way across. Almost no backlash at all. All the gibs have been scraped back in, they've all been tear-sighted, so they're all absolutely beautiful, so it's smooth all the way across. There's no rock in the table like there would be with a normal used machine. It's absolutely bob on. Tolerances are beautiful, spot on. Same with the knees are all lovely and all working fine. That's all been serviced, all the gears have been serviced, there's a brand new bearing in there. The locks are all working great, so there's a knee lock there, the Y-axis lock here, there's an X-axis lock there if you need it. The lube system has all been serviced, so there's all brand new pipes, all brand new valves, everything, the lube pump itself has been serviced, so all that's all working great. We ask you to pump the lube pump about once or twice in an 8-hour operation just to keep everything running smooth. And as I said, there's some little pots up here. You need to keep filling those with oil. Again, that's BD68 is the specification of the oil, in case you're wondering. And it's the same oil that goes in the oil pot down there as well, and the oil pump. Okay, so powering up the machine, you hit the green button down the bottom. You need the first switch down, which is the variable speed head. You need that to be on. The second switch is the slotted head, which doesn't have one, so we don't need that. The third switch is the power feed itself, so that needs to be down. And the fourth switch is the coolant pump. I don't know if you can hear it, but that's in the back of the machine. And that's had all the pipes replaced as well, so it's the out-feed pipe, the in-feed pipe and the two out-feed pipes all been replaced. Okay, so powering up the X-axis power feed. That's variable speed. And this unit is the latest aligned X-axis power feed, so it's the C500PX, and that's got 650 foot-pounds of torque. So that's really it's a powerful little unit. So you can see it's feeding at the moment. That's about the slowest it'll go. You should be able to see that moving on the X-axis there on the DRO. And you can wrap it over either at any time just by pressing this button on the top. When you take your finger off, it goes back to feed again. Now you can move these stops to wherever you need them to be, and when they hit, I'll just speed it up. When those stops hit the micro switch in the middle, it shuts the feed down automatically. You can move those stops to wherever you want them to be, but just don't take them off. And there's another little stop hidden under there, so that you can't move them so far that you'll cause a problem, because there's a scale on the back and there's a power feed there. So we've put those additional stops there to make sure that you can't over travel it. So as long as you don't take them off and take the internal stop off, you'll be absolutely fine. Just move them wherever you need. Make the apprentice aware of that, so just don't take the stops off. Move them wherever he wants, but just don't take them off and then you'll be absolutely fine. Okay, so moving on to the quill and the variable speed head. Here I quite love this. There's a lot of money's worth of parts that go into make these variable speed heads quiet. Okay, so we're running around 700 RPM. That's at 1,000. gauge the feed on the quill with this handle here. Gauge the feed with this handle, and you can see it feeding down. Should be able to lock the quill feed off with just the pressure of 2 fingers. That's spot on. So for every spin of the speed, you've got 3 different feed rates. So that's the highest, that's the slowest, and that's the medium. So they're all working fine. So it shuts down automatically on its own. I'll reverse the feed. So now it's feeding up. I'll reverse it again just to show you working. There you go, works just fine. Okay. There's also a quill lock. Put it all the way to the top. Quill lock there. That works great as well. Okay, so we're going to go up and down the variable speed head speeds now, just to show you everything working. Okay, that's reverse. 1,000 RPM again. Down to 450. That's 2,200. In reverse, or forward, 2,200, 1,000, and 450. I'm only hitting the brake there just to show you that it works. It's generally only used for taking the drawbar out, not for slowing the head down. Okay, so now we're going to change from high range, which is what we're in, to low. This handle tends to be in the way, so we're going to just move that out of the way first. And then push this handle in, turn it around, make sure it locks into low range before we fire up. Firing up is just as quiet and low. And then back down to 50. In reverse now. That's at 120. And that's at 280. Okay, so before I turn it back to high range, I'm going to put it into neutral. So when the handle's facing sort of towards the table, you've got a neutral position. So you'll see the spindle will actually freewheel, so when you're clocking up a PCD. So just to show you that that's all there and working. There we go, changes over just fine. So that's it, demo over. Please come down and see it for yourself. If you want us to add, we can upgrade the DRO from 2-axis to 3, which would be the knee, and 4, which would be a quill as well, and we can get the knee and the quill to sum together. So that's available. Y-axis power feed's available, Z-axis power feed. We can even add an air drawbar if needed. So there's all sorts of options you can add, vices, tooling and so on. So please come down and see it for yourself and let's do a deal. Thanks a lot.